What is up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. We're coming to you with round 7 of the Ipswich Kart Club Championship. We're doing track layout B, which is the original track, the OG track, the best track in my opinion. We're just going to do a little bit of a race review and look at what we did really well and what we could also improve on. Come along for the ride, point out a few things that I learned, and hopefully be able to help any other people that are getting into karting as well. Little disclaimer, this is my first year in racing. We're racing in tag restricted medium, kind of a little bit of the rowdy bunch class. There's always a lot of crap going on, for lack of a better term. People just taking each other out left, right and center, and you'll see a little bit of this happen on this weekend. Let me know what you would love to see. I've recorded all the races throughout the year, so if you would like to see a similar review, or even just want some clips of some crashes or overtakes or whatever it may be posted, just comment down below. Alrighty, so starting off with heat number 1, we actually have a random grid. The event organizers just shuffle it up, and we're starting out of P5, and you'll actually notice here that I'm pretty sure it was P3 and maybe also P4. They didn't rock up to the grid, so we left a little bit of a gap, and so we've just gone around, we've done our formation laps, warmed up the tires. As you see, the starter, for whatever reason, the start lights didn't go out, so we actually do another form up lap. Not too sure what went on there. Go around, get a little bit more heat in the tires, use the cut through, and then we're coming on to the pit straight for our first start, and we actually get a really good run. And by this stage, you can't actually see it on the other side. We're already up into second. P2 and P4, the other guys that were on my right hand, they got a little bit of a bad start, so we're able to get a really good run and catch right up to pole. And so this first few corners, we were just playing it safe. Didn't have a lot of heat or temp in the tires, as it was early in the morning. The track was relatively cold, but we were just trying to keep up with P1, and we got a really good run here coming out of Speedball, and then we were able to get a good run, send it up the inside, turn in way too much, and that throws the back end around, and I get a rubbish exit. As you can see, it allowed P1 to do a little bit of a crisscross, but I did have the inside line for Autobahn, which made things quite easy to get the move done. But as you can see, in these first few laps, really didn't have a lot of heat in the tires. In fact, I started my pressures way too low. They took forever to come on, but at least we were able to be out in front, plowing away at some fresh air. And this goes on for about the first 6 or so laps out of the 8-lap heat, and then eventually, as you can see here, coming into the last few corners, I do make a little bit of a stuff up coming into the penultimate corner, and can't actually see coming down this straight, but it allowed P2 to get a really good run. He was sticking his nose on the inside of my kart here. Looking back, probably should have just closed the door, as he wasn't close enough to make the move that corner, and if I did that, I would have gotten a much better run into turn 2 here. But this is the second mistake, because I got a poor run into turn 2. It allowed Kart 57 to take the lead, and Kart 57, he's been quick all weekend. We're able to show some really good pace, and for the last 2 laps we just stayed with him. We didn't have enough pace to re-overtake, but we were able to stay with him and finish second for heat number 1. So for heat number 2, we're starting back in P11. The reason why is because it's a reverse grid for heat 2. So because we started in 5th, they throw us back. They just flip the grid over. So we're starting back in P11. As you can see, the lights still haven't gone out, but a lot of the guys here, for some reason, they all trip over each other there. Restricted medium for you, man. And we weren't too sure what was happening. We weren't sure if the race was going, but it looks like these guys, and P1, he set off into the distance, so we just started racing. We weren't sure what was going on, but then, as you can see in the corner here, they were showing the flashing yellow light, so I thought that was a full course yellow. The guys that actually spun out, they catch back up, and we just do a proper race start once again. So here we go, take 2 for heat 2. Get away relatively clean coming into turn 1 and 2. Just trying to stay out of trouble. As you can see, we slot back into P7 here. I was just going to follow Kart 57 because he had lots of pace, so just going to follow him through, let him do all the hard work. Get a little bit too happy on his bumper here, and then coming into Video Pro, he gets tagged around by kart number 26, and that's his race over, unfortunately. A few laps go by, we're able to overtake kart 42. Now we've caught up to kart 56. Now hats off to kart 56, he's a decent driver, he's a little bit dangerous. You'll see a few moves here, but he made it really hard for me to get around him. Just to the nature of his driving style. So as you can see, he leaves the door open and then he cuts across. And so it's very hard to predict what he would be doing into corners. But anyhow, we follow this mob for quite a few laps. And really, at this stage in the race, I'm just trying to find any way past kart 56. I can see the leaders aren't too far away, and I definitely had the quicker kart compared to everyone else. So I was just trying to find a way past. Had an opportunity to send it up the inside of 56 there, but messed up the exit, and that ruined that move there. So as you can see here, we followed kart 26 into the corner. Thought we had enough room, but kart 56, being a little bit of savage, just chopped us, let us run out of room. Just followed the leader for a little bit. Didn't really have the pace to get him out of the corners, which was unfortunate. That was pretty much the go for Heat 2. We were just stuck behind kart 56, couldn't really do too much about it. Snagged a few more positions that we overtook, but yeah, at the end of the day, just needed to be a bit more aggressive, be a little bit more committed to those passing opportunities, and I'm sure we would have got the job done. So last lap of Heat 2, finished in P6, which wasn't too bad, but could definitely have done better. Alrighty, so start of the pre-final, we are starting out of P4, right behind Dylan Mans. And so for this, going into this, I knew this was a really important race. I had to finish well so that I could start the final in the first or second row. And so we get a really good start, stay nice and close to P2. And I think I backed off a little bit too much into this corner, but luckily kart 26, he ran wide and we were able to get the inside run up here into turn 3. He turns into me there. I'm not too sure what he was thinking. I definitely had the corner there, and in hindsight, should have really just ran him off the track there, but he yielded into flip-flop, and we were able to get the job done there. And so we were able to catch up to kart 46 quite quickly by the end of this lap, as we were just showing a really good pace. We were able to bring the tyres on nice and quick. As you can see, coming down the back straightaway here, we're able to get a really good slipstream, but for some reason kart 46, he checks up quite a lot into this corner. I'm not too sure why he was so slow in the middle of the corner, as we normally carry a lot more corner speed through there. But because of this kind of scuffed up my tyres and threw the rear around. I wasn't able to really get a good run, and so that was just an unfortunate mistake. And so that was a little bit of an unfortunate mistake that set us back about 2 or 3 kart lengths there. And unfortunately, we're overtaken by kart 57. He's had really good pace, and so we just let that one go. We weren't going to fight it too much, as that would just slow us down from catching up with the leaders. And I think that's something so crucial that a lot of people will overlook. Instead of fighting in the first couple of laps, is to, if the car's faster, you just let them go through and follow along for the ride. As you can see, we've already caught up to Dylan here, and we have a really good opportunity for the inside. I have a little look, but we just get cut off, and I think 46, he checked up because 57, he was quite slow through that corner, and so to save him going in the backside, he turned down really early, and that kind of got my tyres dirty, and then ultimately had a ton of understeer coming into the second last corner here, left the door wide open, and kart 26 was able to get through. And that was kind of the pre-final over. I was able to stay with him, but just wasn't able to have a clean opportunity to overtake. And my mechanic and I, we kind of narrowed that down, that it was just the wrong gearing for this track. We had a lot of top speed, but we just needed that little extra punch out of corners that we just weren't getting. And so this was the last lap of the pre-final. As you can see, we're all over the back of kart number 26, and it's really, really hard to overtake in the first sector at Ipswich here. It's pretty much single file until you come out of turn 8 at Speed Bowl there. And then if you're lucky, if you get a good run, you can send it up the inside of the Video Pro, but as you can see, I didn't get a good run. So finished the pre-final in P5. Wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either. And so that's what and ultimately it would give us a good starting spot for the final. Alrighty, so we are starting the final. This is where it all counts, back in P5 behind Dylan Mann's kart number 46. So as you can see, quite aggressive straight out of the gates, trying to get around kart number 26. We just did not want to stay behind him again, as we knew what happened from the pre-final. Very good driver, very hard to overtake. My goal and my mindset coming into the final here was just to be mega aggressive, put the pressure on the opposition, and hopefully we'd be able to find a way past. And with the final here, we did make a few adjustments to our kart setup. We in fact went up a few teeth in our rear sprocket, just to give us a little bit more acceleration out of the corners, as we found that was lacking in the first few heats. We thought this might just make us a little bit more competitive, and be able to overtake a little bit easier. As you can see, giving kart 26 quite a few love taps. He was telling us to slow down, not too sure why. Anyway, we were able to get a good run. Weren't able to get the move into turn 1 here, but we just stayed with him and we just kept putting the pressure on. The leaders weren't too far away, but we did want to get ahead of kart 26, so we didn't lose sight of that lead pack. Alrighty, so we're on to lap 3 now. We're still all over kart number 26, really applying the pressure. We get a really good run down the back straight, sent it into the back corner, and got the move done nice and cleanly. So now we're just heads down, focusing on catching P3. And Dylan, as you can see, he's already starting to fall away from the leaders. So for whatever reason, his pace just wasn't up there on the day, and so we were able to catch up quite quickly, as we were able to bring our tyres on, and we also had a little bit better acceleration. So in a matter of corners, just being smooth, not being super aggressive on the wheel, making sure we're hitting our marks, we're able to get a really, really good run down the back straight here, tuck in, get a little bit of that toe, pull out at the last minute, and be able to get it done into the back hairpin. Really, really easy corner to overtake, and it makes it hard for them to pass back as well, as you can kind of defend down the main straight here. As you can see, we went a little bit of a shallower line, made a little bit of an error there, but we were able to hold them off for quite a few laps. They did stay with us. They had some good pace. To my surprise, Dylan actually did send one down the back there, and as you can see, however, when he did that move, See how much further the leaders got away. It just kind of almost ruined the race in that regards. Made it really hard for us to catch back down the leaders. Whereas if we were able to stay together, I'm sure we would have gotten a little bit closer. Anyhow, we were able to cover off, and then for the last few laps we were just focused on chasing down P2. We were lapping quicker, but there just weren't enough laps, and we weren't driving fast enough to be able to close that gap all the way down. So right on board, last lap at Ipswich. We're currently sitting in P3, which is really good. Overall, it's been my best result here at Ipswich. Never got a podium here before, so I was super stoked, but also know that if we made a few more adjustments and if we didn't make as many errors as we did, I'm sure we would have been right on that top step at the podium. Thanks for riding on board. Let me know if you got any questions. Hope you enjoyed this kind of video. Once again, big shout out to Power Republic, Derek and Mitch, for hooking us up with the epic engine that we're running here today. That concludes this race. Learnt a lot and ready to come back into the final round of the championship, firing on all cylinders, ready to take victory. So we'll see you in the next one.